Or two safety.
Yo. So, I just got my groceries. It's sunny out. I need a pair of sunglasses. And this might not make a ton of sense, but I'm going to start trying to explain the concepts and theories I have on fighting as a whole. And whatever. We're just going to go with it. On my way out of here. Alright, so in the gist, we got to get real simple if we're going to break things down. It's like as simple as, what is fighting? But what I mean by that is like, all this crap rolling around in my back seat, I'm sorry. All this stuff like, when I was first watching fighting, one of the first things I ever heard was Dana would talk about it, and it stuck with me. And I still say it to people to this day because there's a negative connotation with the term fighting. But fighting is the only sport that you could play it for anyone in the world and play a match, a fight, a round in its entirety. And most of the world is going to be able to tell you who won, regardless of language they speak, religion, where they're at in the area. Like, fighting is kind of one of those things. It's one of the few sports that's like just globally transit. We've added rules to make, like hair pulling and fingers and orifices, but it's pretty understood. Man, this is driving me fucking nuts. How much shit do I have back there? All right. Okay, so if we were any of these people and we watch a fight, this is where I'm breaking down my concept today. When we watch a fight, whether it's two people in the schoolyard, or it's UFC, or it's at a local show and it's two amateurs making their debut, the way I describe a fight is there are moments. And what a moment is defined as for me is when both fighters are within each other's range for striking. And also in this context, I'm not thinking about grappling. I'm just thinking about two people punching and kicking each other. So if I have a 3-minute round of a fight, we might have around 20 moments. And those 20 moments, if we were to time them with a stopwatch, might last about 40 seconds. And the other, so 40 seconds, that leaves 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I would say 2 minutes of it is them staring at each other doing nothing. And then there's 20 seconds of like one jumps in and creates a moment for themselves, but not the other. And it's kind of like a wishy-washy area where only one can reach. Or they're swinging and it's not in the moment. The majority of fights that we watch are nothing is happening. They're standing outside each other's range looking at each other. Or they are exiting each other's range, keeping each other from getting into what I'm calling a moment. That's important on a lot of aspects. And like one I was talking about yesterday, when my buddies came over and now I've been trying not to train to get better, train to have fun, because a lot of people learn. You learn and you find things that you didn't know you would find when you're having fun on accident than when you're so banging your head on the wall trying to get stuff down, trying to figure things out. So in these moments, this is like, I'm going to get into combinations a little bit too. These moments, let's say you're not in what I'm calling a moment. So you're outside each other's range by about 6 inches on either way. And that's really pretty close. Like if I'm within 6 inches of people, I'm using my lean to play with that. So we'll say a foot, we'll say 12 inches away from each other. And coach calls out a combo. Like, throw that 1-1-2. I promise you that 1-1-2 is fucking retarded. God dang it, I'm going to get banned from YouTube. Whatever. That 1-1-2 is not reliable, as like Sandhagen would say. That 1-1-2 is just chasing a fucking dream because you are not in the moment where you are going to land the strike. So what's really happening is you've got to close the range before you begin the 1-1-2. That's why, like, even in my own coaching, when I've gotten coached, it's like your first couple strikes aren't going to land. I feel like we got to focus on that and figure out what's going on, because people will throw their first strikes that they're wanting to land, and there's nothing there because they're not looking. They're like, all right, 1-1-2. Gonna look down at 1-1-2. You're just swinging at air. And that's a big, big challenge in learning, and in major gaps in talent is just understanding space. Understanding space and when to throw and when not to throw. I'm not going to get too deep into combos today, but I think that really is just about the gist of what I wanted to say in this episode, kind of like what fighting is when I look at it, specifically striking. The majority of the time, they're standing there looking at each other and nothing's happening. The only things that are happening in those times is people end up wasting energy. And you'll see this concept applied in real life when you watch a veteran, a true veteran, how slow they can move their feet and hips and just ping a young whippersnapper that's throwing everything they can, throwing 50 punches, and that veteran's just real slow and real precise and just touch, and those touches are like right on the money. It's all just understanding the space and knowing when to throw and when not to throw, understanding when you are in range and when you're not in range. And one thing I never hear anyone talk about, this is a term I've really tried to share with people that I'm training, is depth perception. Depth perception is so powerful in this, and understanding that we as human beings have depth perception and we can toy with depth perception. It's the same as like looking at art, where it's like there's like these artists that they'll paint like sidewalk chalk, but it looks like if you walk over it, you're going to fall into a hole. There's ways to play with the eye, and even though depth perception and like using art and color and shadows is a different thing, it's all in a way sort of what I'm talking about. You can change where you feel like you're at and where they feel like they're at. And where I find value is making them think they're somewhere that they're not. Like whether I want them to think they're in range or I let them think they're safe, and then I strike. But I wanted to get a video out today. That's my concept today. Moments in fighting, defined as when we are within each other's range. There are very few moments, and they have a very short duration within each fight. Just think about that the next time you're watching something.